One pop asterisk, commentary classic. Went and tell the news, he told the news and done smashed it. Went around and learned the game and got the game mastered. Say you got the T, but she got the T faster. Fools cool to woo, limbs they lay them faster. She's a boss bitch, so you'll never get it past her. Funky Fridays, it be fun if you play it right. Me, I like the ladies, so you see me up on ladies' night. Pat got the game tight, play the game so right, so fly. You can laugh and cry in the same night. One Pat Poos got to put the name up in lights. One Pat Poos got to put the name up in lights. One thing you ought to know, you're fucking with a boss. One thing you ought to know, you're fucking with a boss. One thing you ought to know, you're fucking with a boss.
I am back. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. Delay, y'all. I spent the second trying to get the extended Wi-Fi booster thing going. It's taking me a minute, so I was like, you know what? Yeah. And nothing can ever like fall into play when you need it to fall into place. So, but I am glad that you guys are here to join me. Yep, to join me over here on the One Papoose channel. Just want to get into a little bit of the 404B pertaining to character witness, and we all know which character witness that the government is planning to use in the Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's up and coming trial, right? Aaliyah. I'm going to talk about some of that, and I just kind of want to read it from a legal perspective. On a website that I did find just to kind of go over so that we can understand how they are being able to use Aaliyah. And in this case here pertaining to Mr. Kelly, it is they're using her as a character witness on it. So, but once I'm done reading, I like to see some of you guys kind of engaging in who do you think may follow up as a witness to testify on her behalf as the prosecutors uses her as a character witness in the up and coming trial for Mr. Kelly. But before we begin that, I have a clip that I want to share with you guys. It's an older clip. It was back 2002, some of the responses that came out in 2002 during his trial. So let me make sure, can you guys hear me? Am I good? Mic check. Mods, am I good out there? Can I get a one? Is the sound okay? But I'm going to have to fight with this Wi-Fi. Hopefully it'll do okay just so that I can get through this and the readings for this. And I'll try to, if the time is permitted, pull up some of the latest motions and read and go over some of those and see if you guys want to talk about some of the upcoming motions. Thank you, Charlotte. Sound is good. Okay, so we're good and we're at action. Waiting on Coda Bear also to come and get Teddy because I'm in a different area of my home right now. So, and Teddy's looking for me like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we? What are we doing down here? Like, we're only down here like if we're going to watch a movie or something like that. So, hello, Shady. Hello, Shady. So, earlier, you guys, and I'm not going to apologize for anything that I do when it's time for me to stand my ground, to come out to protect my integrity and my loyalty as I try to continue to build my channel over here as well, to vibe with the people that is taking their time out to come and vibe over on the One Papoose. This is the One Pap channel, and that's it, and that's all. I don't condone where people come off, especially our own kind, where we like to take it to a different level of tearing each other down. However, I know that that is one of the things amongst us Black people that we are absolutely good at. We don't have a problem with taking bread out of one another's mouth and allowing the other colors of people to advance ahead of us. We've always been like that. I don't think that we would ever change from that. And a lot of it, I like to blame it on slavery in some aspect of it because of the way we were conditioned to not have anything, to not learn anything, to not teach anything. So we were brought here to not know of anything. So it is fair to say, I believe, in my opinion, that once a person is able to grab hold of the whole basket, and because they never have, or we will learn to not have, but when we do get it, and if it is good to us, and if it's treating us right, and I'm moving ahead off of whatever damage that control that I can do to my own people, then I will do so. So I'm used to this shit. I'm so used to it, right? And I'm so over it. You know what I'm saying? Is you gotta pick your good orange out the basket to peel and to be with. And to, because other than that, you get hold to a bad one, and it's usually the bad one that will destroy the whole basket of oranges if you allow it to start touching all over you, and it's like, just go away. You don't want, I'm just speaking in general, you guys, we don't want what they have up there. We don't want what they have to offer, because we will tear each other's neck down just to get there. And I'll give you another example about it. Let's just take, like, I don't know, let's say the Chinese people, right? Um, we can use England, where the Queen is at. You don't see them all tearing each other, and one wanting more than the other, because they all live as one. It's like they all have their own worshiping of what they do over there. You know what I'm saying? But when you start to combine and entangle too many different, you know, personalities and races and stuff like that, we just stay in a disarray. We just stay in a disarray. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. I'm so over it. I don't know what can help us. And I'm pretty much so close to saying, it's like, don't help us, because this is the way that we want to be. You're not going to have more than me. You're not going to have more than me. And when I started hearing about the, hey, Fire, hey, Ladies Beauty, Charger, hey, PDQ, hello, Lisa, hello, everybody. Brenda, what up, what up? Let me make sure I'm not missing nobody. Charlotte, hello, ladies, everybody. Galatians, Shady. Okay, I see, and Too Cute. I see all of you guys. So as Missy, hey, Missy. So if they choose to fall in, you guys, I may not stop again to do the speaking just yet, because I want to get through this reading and stuff. Sheila, what up, what up, what up? So the mods, can you guys please welcome everybody as they come in, and then I'll try to take a break somewhere in between. But it's sad. I watched how everybody came out to start talking about the PPP thing, but because you are now aware of who's doing this PPP, whatever this stuff is, I don't know. I don't look into it or nothing like that, because one, I always feel like, hell, I don't qualify for any goddamn thing out here anyway, because of what I do to make my living. So never looked into it, but it's just funny how, yeah, I get it. It's like, let's rat our own people out while, all those other people over there, they safe. They gonna be the ones that remain out on the street, and all of the people, because they of blackness, and because you kind of know them off of the YouTube street, we're gonna take them down, and we're gonna have them locked up, and we're gonna do this, not even knowing like what actually is a person's situation pretty much in their lives. I get some of it for the shits and giggle things, I kind of get that. But, when I start seeing like just random people just to be saying it, not knowing if they're going to do it for real or not, I've been asking myself, like, what is it for you to gain? Like, what do you gain out of that? I don't know. Maybe like a lot of people say, they think that I'm just the weirdest out here. I'm the weirdest one, and I'm okay with being the weirdest one, because normally the weirdest one is the outside, the outball, you just don't fit in. So you would think like how I think, and some of the other ones out here as well, though. But it's like, man, you know what? Sometimes if it ain't your business and if it don't benefit you, you kind of learn to just leave things alone. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Maybe there is a beneficial package out here. Like I said earlier, maybe there is some type of award or something to have all of these people turned in and put into jail. But in the same breath, we'll come out here and be like, we're locking out people up, and and we're doing this and we're doing that. It gets confusing. You know, you get to ask yourself, like, which way do the people want it? Which way do everybody wants it? And I finally figured it out. Everybody wants it its way, your way. It's my way. It's my way. But it is what it is. I'm just like from a different breed, you know. Sometimes I'm like, it ain't my business. I also look at it like we have started to come together to figure out a lot of lawful damages that the government is doing out here, misusing the law to benefit their own practice, their own, you know, satisfaction, because they have a situation that has occurred with Mr. Sylvester, and they want at him so bad, but they're going by any means necessary, where a lot of channels and a lot of bloggers out here are in belief now that, wait a minute now, you guys are not practicing and doing what the law has imposed for them to do. You're using it now in all kind of ways to satisfy the situation without all of the facts, without allowing Mr. Sylvester to go through the full due process according to the law. So we get that. But when we mention and we try to point out some of these facts of what people are finding in their fact-finding search, right? Opposing on the government and their laws, right? The government is the people that also implemented this PPP stuff, right? For all I can sit here and say, and in my opinion, you know, I think that they put this stuff out here just to set people up to do these things. So which way do you fight it? Are we mad because of the government set this type of loan stuff out here and not having implemented pilot plan to actually really scrutinize and make sure that they are doing their job of people that would really qualify for these things? Did they throw this freaking loan out here for everybody to jump on, knowing that, just like how they do the drugs in the communities and stuff like that, knowing that everybody's gonna jump on it and, oh yeah, we got some of them now. You know, it's always a catch-22 out here, but at the end of the day, you have to leave it up to each self, oneself, individually. Are you doing the right thing? Will you do the right thing? Knowing that from what these bloggers and the subs and everybody has been saying about how the government can be, how is it that oneself or itself can actually keep falling for the same setup situations with life out here? Because it happened. They're going to throw you that bad apple. Will you bite it? If you did bite the bad apple, why you talk about it? Why do you put yourself around people that's going to share your information and things like that? Because last I checked, nobody is perfect, and somebody out of everybody, there's going to be one or two of us of our colors that is going to veer off and taste some bad water or make a mistake of you know, walking out of the store with a notebook thing because for their children, because they didn't have money or so to pay for it or whatever. I guess, you know, do you not pay any attention to it, or do you kind of get into the moral aspect of it and say, well, you know what, if those are for your kids, and we know stealing is wrong, but sometimes I have to let the store catch these people. It's not my job, and it's not a lot of our jobs. A lot of times for us to want to just impose and take upon a job that's just kind of not your job. You have God out there that oversees every freaking thing. Kind of got to let him deal with it. And the people that this lady walked out of the store with 5 notebook things because her baby needed some notebook things, kind of got to let the store catch them. I look at them like, you know, that's my color. That's my sister right there. And I understand that. She didn't, you know, steal from the whole store or nothing like that, but that's not my job. And if that was one of her reasons, you know what, y'all should have called her. And that's just how I am. It's not my job to be out here. Oh, hold up, sister. I'm turning you in. I'm calling the feds on you. Ain't my job. Feds get paid to do their job. And that's to catch those type of people, not for me or anybody else to kind of impose on it to, take your own people down. We doing such a good damn job at it. It ain't gonna be nothing out here left but Caucasian people. Y'all keep it up with the rate that y'all going in. Anywho's, how's everybody doing? Thanks again for joining the channel. I just want to play about 2 minutes of this video here, and I just kind of want to talk about it for a second because this used to be one of Mr. Kelly's attorney. Let's hear what he had to say a while back in 2002. So I got to come off of it. I'm going to get me another monitor too, y'all, sometime this weekend. And then I'm done spending money over here because I'm spending more money than what I'm making right now. So, but let me try to get it up. So give me a second. So I'm gonna have to pull you guys up on my other screen, but on my phone. So 1 second. I gotta get a double screen here. I gotta get a double screen. Okay, so let me find this one here. Then I'm gonna start getting good with my my stream deck so I can already have this stuff lined up and just pop it up on the screen. So now I have time. I only have one more up and coming engagement, and that's in September. So now I can have time, at least an hour or two out my day after work to come and sit and start sharing some more information with you guys. And I got to get off of this word because it's killing me over here. I done said it about 10 times and y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me, oh, hold on. I'm doing it fast, y'all, so give me a second. Okay, so let me do this.
All right, Al, thank you.
Hold on. Let me get this back up. So I want to share my screen with you guys. Okay. I'm gonna rewind this.
Shocking development. Police arrested a popular singer on child pornography charges. NBC's Jim Avila has it.
This was from Nostalgia Films, right? This is a little bit of the news regarding what happened in R.Kelly's 2002 alleged child sex tape charges, right? But I just want everybody to remember what his attorney had to say back in 2002. So I'm gonna let this run for about, I think it's 2 minutes or so, and then I'll kill the video. So I do not own the rights to this video. This video is being used for educational and entertainment purpose only. Fair act usage over here on the One Papoose channel. Okay, so let me do this because I want to see you guys. Going to get me another monitor this weekend. I can run 2 monitors up on my screen. And get my Wi-Fi booster box going. That's gonna take me a minute, but okay. That's
Tales. But first, I know it starts inside.
The hottest rhythm and blues singer in America, R.Kelly, the man Vibe magazine called the new millennium Marvin Gaye, now in handcuffs. arrested in Florida and charged in Chicago with 21 heinous sex crimes against an underage girl.
Kelly, do you have anything to say?
The key evidence, say police, a videotape made by the singer himself.
FBI forensics experts from Quantico have closely examined the tape. They tell us it's authentic.
Police say the 40-minute tape, which first surfaced 5 months ago, was recorded inside Kelly's house on this Chicago street. He has since moved to this suburban mansion. The video already screened by the grand jury that returned a 3-page indictment accusing Kelly of, among other things, soliciting, taping, and performing sexual acts with a 14-year-old.
So
Kelly's
let
attorney
me
says it's
pause
not
it
him on
just
the
for a second, you guys, because what you heard this news reporter, I guess I would say, speak on is pretty much the similar charges of what the now prosecutors are coming into court with. Similar, same charges, okay? So yeah, I got it spitting fire. I just got to get it to connect because you got to connect it, you know, close to your box and stuff. And I was holding up and stalling the live, but it's going to take me a minute. And so I'll have it ready and then I'll bring it down here where I am in my office. So it should be ready after that. So do you guys remember this attorney here from the 2002 trial? So one in the chat if you guys remember this guy right here. You guys remember this here attorney. So what I wanted you guys to do was just hear what he said because he was there in 2002. This is what he had to say according to this 2002 alleged sex
video, and the girl in question will back him up.
Anybody know this charge, in fact, under this case, cannot be proven?
So
Kelly is
let's
best known
stop
for
that
two
again and let's rewind it because I have a question for the chat, right? This is an attorney. This attorney here, what was his name? Ed Jensen, right? He said that this charge, this sex tape, all of this stuff here cannot be proven. But here we are in 2021, well, where the now prosecutors believe that they can prove something, where this here case, this similar charge had already been to court and he was acquitted on this charge. But here you have an attorney telling these people, the world, after this, it could not be proven. So what did the prosecutors do? They went and dug up more charges and more charges and more charges and more charges. I believe that they done so because they knew how the 2002 trial went. They knew that everything that the prosecutors then had thrown pretty much whatever they can find out of a shoebox at Mr. Sylvester Kelly. But here they are again wanting to do a two-peat on Mr. Kelly. Let's hear him say it again.
Kelly's attorney says it's not him on the video, and the girl in question will back him up.
Anybody know this charge, in fact, under this case, cannot be proven?
Kelly is best known for two upbeat R&B anthems.
He said that
I believe I
it could
can
not
fly.
be proven. So somebody please explain to me, what is it that these prosecutors are planning on doing differently if they could not prove anything from the 2002 trial? They're going to now rely on character witness, one in particular, which is something that I just want to get into and kind of read it in a legal aspect from a website that put the information out here, just to give you guys some idea of how they are going to be using a character witness, because that witness is no longer here to speak for herself. So let's just watch a little bit more of this and
I believe I can fly.
And World's Greatest, which Kelly sang at the Winter Olympics.
Now I can just walk on the roof.
Even then, Kelly was proclaiming innocence and blaming his enemies for setting him
so
up.
who did he
really
say?
bad, you know what I'm
He
saying?
said that he believes his enemies have set him up. And a lot of people say that Mr. Kelly hasn't really spoken yet. Mr. Kelly hasn't really given his defense yet. In 2002, he's sticking to exactly what he said then, and he's saying it now. I believe he mentioned quite a bit of it on the Gayle King show. And he did mention that it doesn't take but one person to start up some mess. And because of who I am, there will be a lot of people to follow behind. He had made it aware to the people out here, to his fans, to his supporters, that he has enemies. He said that I believe that all of my enemies are setting me up. Said in his own words, but we'll go back again so that you can hear him say it again.
Enemies for setting him up.
It upsets me really bad, you know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, I'm not aware of anything like that. And for people, unknown people, to make those statements against me is ridiculous.
After yesterday's arrest, Kelly released this statement, quote, "I have complete faith in our system of justice, and I am confident that when all the facts come out, people will see that I'm no criminal."
He
The
said
tape
that
was
he
first
has
made public.
complete faith in his system. So I have to ask you guys a question again. How many of you guys right now today, after doing all of your research, all of your fact finding on the contradicting in the Lifetime movie docuseries? I like to even throw the As Is Entertainment in there because I did not, I didn't like that either. How many of you guys have your faith in the justice system? Because back then in 2002, R.Kelly trusted the system. So what do you guys think about the system now? Now that you have found out about how corrupted or devious manipulating the system can be. How do you guys feel about that now? How do you feel about it now? I got to make sure that the live is okay, you guys, because on my phone it's acting up. So are we still good? Are we still good out there? Beauty, Harlem, Priscilla, you guys let me know when we're not good so that I can pause until I have sturdy connection. So until I can get the booster going. Okay, let's finish. Let's do a little bit more.
By the Chicago Sun-Times, which turned it over to authorities investigating complaints of teen sex against Kelly.
Right.
Music reporter Jim DeRogatis says he confirmed that it was Kelly on the tape by showing it to the 14-year-old's aunt.
Probably one of the worst things I've ever had to do as a reporter is sit with this woman and say, look, I don't want to show you this, but we need to make sure this girl is who we think this girl is.
Now a jury must decide if the man who sold 24 million records also made one videotape that could end his career. For today, Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
Sets the record straight. First on BET Tonight, in a one-on-one, no-holds-barred interview with Ed Gordon.
The worst things always going to stick out when you're famous or when you're popular.
The alleged underage sex video.
You've denied them on BET before.
And the impact on the industry. What do you really want to know? Log on to BET.com and chat online during the interview. See it first on BET Tonight with Ed Gordon.
Are keeping a close eye on the situation, too. I haven't had a chance to see these, alleged tapes or whatever, but I mean, I'm certainly keeping him in my prayers. I know that being an entertainer certainly affords you a lot of extra attention and prying into whatever your personal choices are, whether they be right or wrong. But I mean, who are we to judge?
He always gonna be one, the greatest R&B singer in my eyes, and I hope that people don't mix, it's kind of messed up, but that it happened like that. But I would hope people just continue to support his music. I mean, we've seen these type of situations before. Hopefully, we can get past it.
I always liked the R.Kelly. I didn't watch the video, even though everybody has it. I think it's disgusting. I mean, I have a daughter myself, and anytime you mess with a young girl,
you guys, everybody knows what happened to Suge Knight, right? And Suge Knight says that he hasn't watched the video at all. At all. That's what he says. But then turn around with the same tongue and tell people that he thinks is disgusting. But if you haven't watched a video, how would you know if it's disgusting or not? How do you even put an opinion on that? I can't tell you whether it was disgusting or not. I ain't seen nothing. So if I haven't seen it, there shouldn't even been an opinion on it. But what happened to Suge Knight? Do you guys think what happened to him was disgusting? What he was allegedly accused of doing? And we all know what that was when it came to Tupac Shakur, right? Okay, and where is he now? Okay, let's go.
It's all bad. I mean, but at the same time, R.Kelly needs some help.
If he did it, then he should be punished for it.
But longtime friend and singer Ron
A lot of
Isley,
people say
who
that
has performed.
Ron Isley, has not been speaking out, hasn't said anything or whatever. Well, back here in 2002, apparently he did have some good things to say about Mr. Kelly. So now that we're in 2021, maybe now is probably not a good time to say things. We've been told out here in the sector pertaining to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly that it's could possibly be hard that a lot of his alleged good friends or good people that was around him is either too afraid to come out, they don't want the bad tarnishing on their names connected to him, possibly because they're out there trying to do some things as well as, as far as still making money or music or whatever. I don't know how hard it would be for another celebrity to come from up underneath their turtle shell to, say good things about Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, even if they worked with him or, he worked with them, vice versa, right? But we all know that there is a lot of them that just refuses to come out and stand for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But I don't know. Let's hear what Ronald Isley had to say back in 2002 pertaining to Mr. Kelly.
With the embattled artist, predicts R. Kelly will survive the sex, lies, and videotape saga.
Been around long enough to listen to them boo Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and quite a few. And then those people come back for whatever reason and go right back to the top. So I know through the boos they still love who they boo. They're disappointed in something from that entertainer. But that entertainer always bounce back.
There you
In
have
Los Angeles, Stephanie
He
Frederick.
says that you can boo him and you can hate him. You can make all accusations out of a situation or a person. But Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, vindication, and he will probably, because of the voice that he has and I like to call him magician, that he can be, you'll still have a whole lot of people back out here if he wished to drop another album or put out his unreleased music that will still love this man's music without a doubt. And as he said it, I can't say it better than Ronald Isley, but those people still will continue to rise to the top because of the enormous amount of support that a superstar can get just because of them being that artist and giving you what you like to hear, what you enjoy hearing from a particular person, no matter what the reputation that the country has painted on him. It'll probably be nothing for Mr. Sylvester Kelly to drop an album and still have his enormous amount of support that he had already had. I don't think that it would change. And I hope that you guys don't think that it'll change, but I don't, not with the talent and how he drops his albums and stuff out here to fit each and everyone's needs, you know, your personality of what's going on through your life. And that's, to me, what he does.
BET Nightly News.
Let me stop that.
Made a lot of rumors about Kelly's interest in young girls, almost from the moment he became a superstar over nearly a decade ago. Among those was that
I'm gonna stop that. Let me get out of here. Let's get rid of that. I'm back. So I just wanted to show that little piece of clip to you guys from what the attorney had spoke on back in 2002. And I had asked the chat, what do you guys think that the prosecutors can now find differently from the 2002 with the similar charges that they're trying to impose on him? What do you guys think that they can do so much differently from what the prosecutors from 2002 already tried to do? What can be done so differently? You know, so I just saw that and I wanted to share that with you guys to bring some of that information back. And we also had where, and I get it, Greenberg is not his attorney or everything, but he is still also recorded as well, telling these people out here that when they came and I'm sorry, you guys, something's in my eye. When they came to do the searches and everything, they searched the storage, they did this, they did that. And he said that the things that was up in the storage or whatever was his some of the music or whatever, or probably equipment and stuff like that. So exactly, Fire, exactly. They're relying on bad acts, and we saw all of the bad acts out here that a lot of us just did not agree to, you know. They did not agree. We didn't agree with a lot of stuff that we have saw. Today, a lot of the channels ran you back information about Ashanti McGee. She's definitely not my favorite. She has done quite a bit of criminal activity throughout the years of her life of living, you know. So me to judge her, I don't know, I don't care. The only thing that I pretty much like to speak about is just the wrongdoing of what is happening to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Whatever that woman has done 10 or 5 years ago or whatever, it helps to show who her character is. That, you know, does it help with the case? Pretty much it can, it definitely can, but to judge about why she did whatever she did 5 years ago and have all 8 of them damn mug shots and everything, you know what, it is what it is. Hello, Jason. Hello, everybody who is coming into the chat room after I had started. So I will try to stop here and there to say hello to everybody and to let you guys know that I am glad that you guys took the time out to come over and do some vibing with One Papoose, and I appreciate you. So don't forget to hit the like button out there, you guys, and let's get into the second part of the commentary. The second part that I want to bring up to you guys, and I'm gonna go through it. I'll probably be jumping from a page to a different page so that I as well can grasp a better understanding about what a 404B is all about and why and how the Judge Donnelly was allowing these prosecutors to use the law from the 404B to implement and allow the Aaliyah, who is not with us out here to testify on anything, but they're going to use it as her as a character witness. So I just want to read over that so you guys can have some idea whether if it is lawful or unlawful. Can they do this? Can they not do this? Why are they doing this? And we all know it's to help strengthen their case. They want to win their case. And that's just the way prosecutors roll out here. They're going to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. What you say, Charlotte? You say will you work with any of these artists who went against him? No, I definitely would not, because as an artist, Charlotte, and working with artists in the past like that, and to hear all of the cries now with a lot of artists that is going through similar things as far as how the industry is, with not wanting to hand over their masters or things like that. I don't think so. Because you didn't have my back. And if we are all artists and we all see that you have the industry that is just not fair about things, or they have these manipulating ass contracts, or underlining contracts, fine prints and stuff, and we done found out about it. But I done did music with all you guys, but I'm the only one that's fighting for my life. But the same contract that I done signed, and I got to battle this out by myself now with the industry, and none of you guys are helping me, but I helped you guys with music and all of this stuff. No, and to be honest with you, Charlotte, how can they win? How can your artists win against this industry of music, these big people, if they're not even all together on the same page, regardless of the infraction of things? These are all artists. The majority of them had some mishaps with these music industry labels up here. So when do they stand and fight together? Why am I only seeing them come individually at this music industry? Why aren't they? Well, I guess they're not unionized or something like that, but why you don't never see them standing together? Why there has not been a big, gigantic case with these artists who have been done wrong? You guys said, I remember the TLC got hit with some things. Anita Baker is out there with some things going on. I don't know if Gladys Knight has some. It's quite a few of them, right? If they're signed to somebody, if they're their own independent artists, I believe that, what's his name? The one guy that's always on everybody music. He was doing like the what is this thing? DJ Khaled, right? I think DJ Khaled spoke about how he started out as, he's his own independent or whatever. So I don't guess you'll ever see him trapped up in some of that stuff. Do I believe that he didn't take some loans out against something or whatever from these people and pay them back? I kind of do, but I don't think that. I think in his words that he never kind of signed. He stated he stayed as an independent artist out here, or whatever the case. But that's one thing, Charlotte, that I just cannot understand. Why do you have single artists out here with all of these individual filings against this music industry. I don't understand that. Why haven't they all grouped up? So like your question said, would I work with any of these people due to this type of situation, if I was in this type of situation? And my answer would be no. It would definitely be no. You know, you have my back. You know, it's like marriage, you know, we all are artists, you know, you have my back through thick and thin, through good and bad, and I'll have yours, because the only person that will win if we don't stick together in any type of fight is the music industry people. You know, why are they filing this stuff single-handedly? I don't understand that. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, give me a second. Let me bring up the website that I kind of wanted to read and get into. So give me 1 second, you guys. 1 second, please. 1 second. I gotta find it.
I wonder, is it worth living now? They told me dreams come true once you live it out. I picked up pieces from my childhood in a broken house and heal my soul from the trauma we've been given out. I hear the whispers in the wind under smoky clouds and tell myself once again, I'ma work it out. So much shit can happen, yo, it got me tripping now. Yeah, it's feeling different now. Feel like I'm zoned out, put my phone down, damn it's cold out. Plotting on a rollout, we took our own route, really on our own now. These them winter schemes, plotting for better dreams, cooking flows and melodies for OGs with felonies who've been locked since the 70s. You gotta pray for enemies with jealousy, they only feed off the good-hearted. Just don't bargain, stay in your lane and keep hogging. Know that you a target and gotta finish what you started. Life of being an artist, gotta show them where your heart is. Put your all in, keep calling, keep going, don't stall it. Don't fall for what they all been dishing out. Just be yourself and it'll work it out. I wonder, is it worth living now? They told me dream.
It say, be yourself, be yourself. Oh, let me see if it's gonna, okay, so I have to pull that down. Okay, so can you guys see the screen okay? Do I need to enlarge it? Let me see if I can bring it up some more. I think I might have. Let's see. Okay, wait a minute. 125. Okay, maybe that's good. Okay, this is from the Cornell Law School. And I kind of just want to go over this. I can see you guys from my phone. I might be behind just a little bit, but we will see. If I'm behind, I'm going to get another screen. I promise I'm getting me another screen this weekend. I have to have 2 monitors up now. So I brought to you guys' attention about Aaliyah. She's going to be used, and it has been admissible. I believe that Judge Donnelly did approve it and said that they would be able to do so. After I bring this up, I'm going to go and tap in onto the Pacer and see. She says DJ Khaled is a music producer. That is all he be saying. We the best. But he made money. I think he also went broke too at one time. He ain't got that much damn money because he's too expensive. He's too expensive. He buys so many expensive things. It's crazy. So yeah, but I'm trying to wait till I see the screen come up. I think my phone is like behind you guys. But this is what they use. They use the 404B pertaining to, in my opinion, Aaliyah. And what they have called her is a character witness, and they did that because, in my opinion, she is no longer here to speak for herself. So Rule 404 is the character evidence, other crimes, wrongs, or acts. Okay, it has its prohibited uses. Evidence of a person's character or a character trait. Evidence of a person's character. So we all know what type of evidence that they are going to possibly attempt to bring into the courtroom against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's of this person's character. So, and that is the alleged marriage certificate that was supposed to be, or what they claim to be, is authentic. So we have two sides going on out in the YouTube streets, where you have some that believes that the marriage certificate is authentic, and you have some that believes that it is a fake piece of document. But this is what they plan on, in my opinion, using against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly up in the up-and-coming trial pertaining to Aaliyah as a character person. So to speak, she won't be there, but we're going to use her character. We're still going to use her. So it's a character or a character trait. It's not admissible to prove that on a particular occasion that the person's acted in accordance with the character or trait. Exceptions for a defendant or victim in a criminal case. The following exceptions apply in a criminal case. A defendant may offer evidence of the defendant's pertinent trait, and if the evidence is admitted, the prosecutor may offer evidence to rebut it. Are we still good out there, mods? I'm gonna make sure that we're still good. Just checking. Let me take that off so you guys can see me on the screen, I guess. I don't know if I'm on the screen or not. Are we okay, you guys? Am I having a... We're good? We're good? Waiting on a thumb up in the chat room. So it says that sometimes okay, we're good. Thanks, Beauty. Subject to the, B says that the subject to limitations in Rule 412, which I am going to click on and see what the 412 rule is. A defendant may offer evidence of an alleged victim's pertinent trait. And if the evidence is admitted, the prosecutors may offer evidence to rebut it, offer evidence of the defendant's same trait. And this one here just talks about what would happen in a homicide case, that the prosecutors may offer evidence of the alleged victim's trait, peacefulness, to rebut evidence that the victim was the aggressor. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, girls. So let me go up here because I do want to see what Rule 412 states, and then I will jump back. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to have to go back out the screen for a second. It's going to be a headache, but you know what? I'm just going to give me a second. I'm going to put the 412 down, and then I'll go back to that because I definitely want to see what 412 says also. And in order to get to the meat and potatoes of some things, you're going to have to do a lot of jumping around to really understand exactly what it's saying, you know, because, oh shit, where did it go? Oh, it's my Wi-Fi. Hold on, y'all. No, go back. It's slow, you guys. Bear with me. I'm going to have it plugged up and ready next time. Okay. Thank you, SW. Now it's moving slow. Come on. Come on. I was spending too much time trying to connect it to get it to pair with the box. Okay, so we're back. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, so I wrote rule 412 down, something that I want to look into. So let's go down to the exceptions for a witness. Evidence of a witness character may be admitted under rule 607, 608, and 609. We need to go and look at 607, 608, and 609 as well, because it's telling you here why and how a character witness can be admitted, okay, in the court. So we're gonna go and take a look at that as well, but we're gonna get through this, and then I'm gonna have to go back to see what 607, 608, and 609 says that will allow the judge to allow a character witness to be used in the court of law. Why and how? So somewhere it was okay to have it admitted by a judge to do so. As bad as we would not want it to be admitted, but was it lawfully done? Probably so, okay? Other crimes, wrongs, or acts. Evidence of any other crime, wrong, or act is not admissible to prove a person's character in order to show that on accordance with the character. This evidence may be admissible for another purpose, such as proving motive, an opportunity, the intent. I just got to keep that word in mind, the intent. I'm not worried about the preparation, the plan, the knowledge. The identity is important, the absence of the mistake or the lack of accident, right? So intent is usually one of the most important words to always follow when you're kind of getting into the law. And I am not an attorney, nothing like that, but I do know for sure that it's a very important word. I do know that. The notice in a criminal case. In a criminal case, the prosecutor must provide reasonable notice of any such evidence that the prosecutor intends to offer a fair opportunity to meet it. So do you guys think that that was done when the prosecutors alleged, I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know for sure if they did present any of their evidence pertaining this character witness that they are trying to have admissible in the court of law. And this character witness is deceased now. She's no longer with us. So what do you guys think about that? Oh yes, Sandra, that word intent is yeah, it's a word that a lot of people kind of, should focus on quite a bit when you see it, in the language somewhere. So it says, B, articulate in the notice that the permitted purpose for which the prosecutor intends to offer some evidence and the reasoning that supports the purpose. And just giving you guys a little bit of idea of how to put the motion in to be able to use Aaliyah as a character witness pertaining to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. That's all I'm doing, nothing more, nothing less. They need to do so in writing before trial or in any form during the trial if the court for good cause excuses this lack of pretrial. I want to read this, and I'm going to kind of go through it really fast because I wrote down a lot of the rules that I kind of want to peep into to see a little bit more defining of what they're talking about with the character witness. So it says the subdivision deals with the basic questions whether character evidence should be admitted. Once the admissibility of character evidence in some form is established under this rule, reference must then be made to Rule 405. There's so many references, oh, Lord, so many things to do, which follows in order to determine the appropriate method of proof. If the character is that of a witness, it says to see Rule 608, 610 of methods of proof. We may have to do a part B on this because I'm going to have to go back and look at all. Character questions arises in two fundamentally different ways. One, the character made it seem or defense. So we're dealing with three things about a character on how itself may be an element, has defense. A situation of this kind is commonly referred to as character in issue. Character in issue. So the chastity of the victim under a statute specifying her chastity as an element of the crime of seduction, or the competency of the driver in an action for negligently entrusting a motor vehicle to an incompetent driver. That part there reminds me of Demetrius. It does. If you look past the driver part, you can pretty much feel Demetrius in that part there. No problem of the general relevancy of character evidence is involved, and the present rule therefore has no provision on the subject. The only question relates to allowable methods of proof, as which is to see in Rule 405, which immediately follows this. Character evidence is susceptible of being used for the purpose of suggesting an inference that the person acted on the occasion in question consistently with his character. This use of character is often described as circumstantial. Illustrations are evidence of a violent disposition to prove that the person was the aggressor in a fray, or evidence of an honesty and disproof of a charge of theft. They're talking about more so of the criminal act of it, which I don't see that. This circumstantial use of character evidence raises questions of relevancy as well as questions of allowable methods of proof. So in most jurisdictions today, the circumstantial use of character is rejected, but with important exceptions. Pertinent evidence of good character, often misleading, described as putting his character in issue, in which event the prosecutors may rebuke with evidence of bad character. And two, an accused may introduce pertinent evidence of the character of the victim. As in support of a claim of self-defense to a charge of a homicide or consent in a case of rape, the prosecutor's evidence or in a homicide case. To rebut a claim that deceased with the first aggressor, however proved, number three, the character witness may be gone into a bearing on his credibility. From what I'm reading now, I still don't even see how they can use Aaliyah even as a character witness, because they still would not be able to prove a lot of these things, which means that they would have to bring forth, in my opinion, a lot of, not a lot, but some people that is there to testify on behalf of Aaliyah to whatever fact finding that the prosecutors believe that they have, if that made any sense to you guys. That's the only way that I can see this happening. But them standing there trying to prove something of what they believe is factual on their own and cognitive, I don't think that it's going to work. So he said there's a judge, he's 81 years retired, while listening to the case, stated that if they're going to win Aaliyah, they will still need exactly, they still need a witness. So one thing that I thought about is that, who will it be? Who will it be sent to bag up, to agree with what they're trying to present off of a character witness? Who do you guys think that they may be bringing in to do so? It says that this pattern is incorporated in the rule, while experience then in law as underlying justification can fairly be found in terms of a relative presence and absence of prejudice in the various situation. And this is just bringing up a case log of where similarity may be. In any event, the criminal rule is so deeply embedded in our jurisprudence as to assume almost constitute basic relevancy of the evidence. So it was another part. Okay, so this here part is going to get into the limitations to the pertinent traits of a character, rather than the character generally in paragraph 1 and 2 stated. It is in accordance with the prevailing view, a similar provision in 608, to which reference is made in paragraph 3. Limit character evidence, truthfulness or untruthfulness. They're going to need witnesses to back up what they are trying to present in a court of law to a jury of using a character trait out here. Yeah, they are. They're not going to be able to pull this off on their own, just off of their evidence that they are planning to use as exhibits in the court of law. So, exactly, Priscilla. Yeah, exactly. But the word on the current to testify. So, okay, so these are more case studies, different law studies. Okay, so it says here that the difficulty with expanding the use of character evidence in the civil case is set forth, and this is by the California Law Revision Commission and its ultimate rejections of the Uniform Rule 40. Rejections of it. Character evidence is of slight probative value. It may be very prejudicial and tends to distract the trayer of fact from the main question of what actually happened in a particular occasion. It's reward the good man to punish the bad man because of their respective character, despite what the evidence in the case shows actually happened. And I'm reading that, and I believe that regardless of how everybody did their fact research on whether if this marriage certificate is authentic or not. Here it shows that the character witness plan, I guess I should say, it can tend to be used to distract the tier of fact from the main question of what actually happened in a particular occasion. And the argument out on the streets is about with Demetrius and his words of saying that he did go and, and set things up, and they allegedly out in O'Hare and all of these things, and the bribery was done with paying an official to complete the ceremony. As of today, I do believe that that official, if there was one, allegedly has been terminated from his job and nowhere to be found. Number two, you also had Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, and I believe Aaliyah. They appeared on a talk show and they were asked about this situation, and they, the word on the curb out here got out that it was done for a publicity stunt. It brought the attraction to Aaliyah, I believe, around the time where her album is, her music with Mr. Kelly was trying to get out there in the atmosphere to blow up. So that could have been one of the tactics that they use, where a lot of us now, Aaliyah said it, that there was no marriage. And R.Kelly made a vow to never speak on anything about Miss Aaliyah. So life must goes on. It says here that much of the force of the position of those favoring greater use of character evidence in civil cases is dissipated by their support of uniform 48, which excludes. So do you guys believe that the prosecutors could possibly be using this character witness in a negligency way, in a negligency kind of way? Because they have really throw all kind of stones that they could possibly find towards Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly to make his fight harder than probably what it needs to be, but because they are so determined. And in my opinion, it's because of they did not like how he won his last case. And I believe that they could have possibly been on his trail ever since and was waiting for, I guess, the government to go into action and start putting in play some kind of way to entrap him, I guess, sort of say, or to bring him back down, which was, to me, kind of coming after him, possibly for not complying with what these elites may have wanted him to continue to do throughout his career. And we all know what I'm talking about when I mentioned that about the elites, because I did a lot of, I did a few commentaries on that as well when we were having the panel over here. So that kind of came out too. So I don't know, you guys, but let's move on. Moreover, expanding concepts of the character, which seems of necessity to extend into such areas as psychiatric and evaluation or psychological testings, coupled with expanded admissibility, would open up such vistas of mental examinations as cause the court concern. And that goes into another fact finder researching through whatever his name is, Shalnakbaga versus Holder, which I'm not going to get into that, but let's move on. It says here that subdivision B, it deals with the specialized but important application of a general rule, excluding circumstantial use of character evidence. Consistently with that rule, evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts are not admissible to prove character as a basis for suggestion that interference the conduct on a particular occasion was in conformity with it. However, the evidence may be offered for another purpose, such as proof of motive, opportunity, and so on, which does not fall within the prohibition. In this situation, the rule does not require the evidence be excluded. No mechanical solution is offered. The determination must be made whether the danger of undue prejudice outweighs the value of the evidence in view of the availability of other means of proof. And the other proof, according to this here paragraph here, would be, do they have aligned up witnesses to come forth on their behalf to help secure the evidence, which we all, I believe, would be, like I say, the authentic or the marriage certificate that everyone displays out on the YouTube street. So I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking that this here paragraph is implying. So where was I? Okay, so we finished up that one there for making decisions under this kind of rule for 403. Another, fact finding they have listed here was slow and nightly. So let me see if there's one more that I want to read about the 404B. This one here is the notes of the Committee on the Judiciary House Report number 93 and 650. The second sentence of Rule 404B, as submitted to Congress, begin with the words, "This subdivision does not exclude the evidence when offered." The committee amended this language to read, "It may, however, be admissible." The words used in the this formulation properly place greater emphasis on admissibility than did the final court version. So just a little bit of the notes of the Committee on the Judiciary. So, and it has been amended in 71. It was amended in 87. It was the 404B was also amended back in 91. I want to see if they have a most current one that was amended as well. But one, they amended it by saying that the Rule 404B has emerged as one of the most cited rules in the rules of evidence. There's a Jane. Oh, it was. I heard that too. I did hear that. I hope it's not one of them LL Cool J girls. And in many criminal cases, evidence of an accused extrinsic acts is viewed as an important asset in the prosecution case against an accused. Although there are a few report use of such evidence by the defense, blah, 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 of an informant offered in an entrapment. Okay, so they're talking about an entrapment defense. The overwhelming number of cases involve introductions of the evidence by the prosecution. The amendment of the 404B adds a pretrial notice requirement in criminal cases and is intended to reduce surprise and promote earlier resolution on an issue of admissibility. The notice required thus places Rule 404B in the mainstream with the notice and disclosure provision. Rule 412 is a written motion of the intent to offer evidence under Rule 609 is written notice of intent to offer a conviction older than 10 years, and Rule 803, 804. You guys, notice of intent to use residual hearsay exceptions. So it's just been amended and amended. I want to do a part beats of this one here, you guys, because 07, 608, and 609 was all about as well. Here it is again, amended back in 2000 as well. And it's just amend. I think they just do a lot of amendment when the case, different cases changing and stuff, so they have to implement add-ons or takeaways, you know. Okay, so it just gets more into criminal terminology, criminal narratives in here. And I think that I just kind of wanted to stick with the first rule of the 404B pertaining to 412, 607, 608, and 609 when they were just talking about the character witness part of it. The rest of it, I kind of think they're talking about it more so in deeper into the criminal case of a criminal case with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. So, they amended it in 2011. So I have this here saved because I got to go back and read some more. Okay, so I'm going to conclude that and then jump over, hey y'all, and see what new motions has came out and kind of go through some of those as well before I get off. So about a few more minutes. If you guys are wanting to hear that, you know, I don't mind doing that. What up, Young Black Wall Street? What up to you? Hello. And then after that, you know, let me get you guys back up on the screens. Let me get rid of this. There we go. I'm back, you guys. So that's what I wanted to do. Just with that is to go over what they were talking about with the 404B as a character witness in Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. And the character witness is to me, is Aaliyah in my opinion. And from what I've been reading and everything, that's what they are going to be using her as, since it was admissible by Judge Donnelly. They're going to have to bring in their witnesses to agree to the information of what they're trying to present to the juror, their exhibits, to win whatever it is that they're trying to do to him in the Aaliyah situation. And that's just my opinion. So the question is, Jane Doe 12. Oh Lord, they dropping off like flies. That's not good. So I got to switch screens so that I can go over and pull up what's new on Pacer that will allow me to share it with you guys, because y'all know I ain't going to jail. Nobody, I'll never want no jail. But you say finally after about 20 times. Where you been, Ashley? Where you been? I'm gonna put this link in. I didn't know the script. Why y'all tell me everything was blurry? Maybe it wasn't me, you guys. So hopefully I read that pretty much okay with you. I think Sandra I saw her hanging with, kind of putting in some things to, to make it more clear and cleaning up a little bit. So I appreciate that, Sandra, as well, for being there to just put in some simple words to the chat for everybody. So thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for that. They listening lies, but not true. Yep. I mean, just keep supporting and keep walking with faith out there. We see a lot of stuff, but a lot of people is seeing what they want to see, and in my opinion, it's all because of the they're still living in the 2002 trial. Like I stated on one of my other lives, right? How Texas Black Diamond got, they were approached by one of the guys out there, and the only thing that he kept saying was, "Oh my God, there's this P tape." Well, there's this P tape, and Texas Black Diamond asked the guy, "Well, how are you able to tell like the age of this alleged girl on this alleged tape? How are you able to tell it?" Nobody, I don't know. I've never seen it. I have no idea. Didn't know anything hit no freaking thing. However, I got some goddamn bootleg tape up there, but it don't show but everybody else was claiming that tape came from. On mine, I don't see none of them. So I'm like, okay, I got the wrong tape something where it shows some type of music and stuff. And of course, the Dave Chappelle clipping or whatever is on there. So, but I was like, well, I'm gonna miss out on that. So I don't know. I can't say whether it was or not. And I think that I rebutted when Texas Black Diamond kind of talked about it, and I was like, well, the first thing I think that I would have asked him is, why in the hell is you still talking about something that happened in 2002? What if it was you 20 years ago? Would you want for someone to bring something 20 years ago back to the present on you? Don't you know that people change? People, there was no way that I would have even had like nothing else to say to this man. Are you stuck in the past? And go back over there where the past at and see how that works out for you. We're out here for what's going on like now, and there's nothing that's in there saying anything about Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly urinating on a freaking videotape. It's not one of the charges in the freaking the dig up this indictment over here, but it definitely doesn't say that in the indictment. You want to discuss something or whatever about what his actual charges are. One, and since he was talking about the videotape and assumed that what he saw is what he saw, you're gonna have to prove to show me. So go get the tape. Let me see. Rule out to me. Why? But why are you mad about it? What harm did he do to you personally about? If this had happened, what was privately done, in his home. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get it. And, I don't get it. But I get everybody else, once you have become sexually active with your partner, I know some people out there that have been swinging on chandeliers and shit around here, putting all the goddamn and shit all on you, and cream and ho puffs for him to lick out your ear. Ain't that stuff like, ain't that stuff crazy too? But they went to work on that. Let me go see what's going on over here on this page. So you guys give me a second, and then I got to get up out of here. So give me a second. Hold on. I'm looking. So let me find it, you guys. Give me 1 second. While y'all wait. Oh, there we go. It's already up that fast. Holy smoke the Rooney. I guess that the Wi-Fi must have worked that time, y'all. Mighty fast. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. How's it looking? How's it looking? See what we got new. What today is? Today's the 10th. Oh, okay. So that one just dropped. August, we're gonna leave off at because I have no idea what's going on. You had August 6th one that dropped. It was the letter dated, updating the courts regarding the parties' challenges for the cause concerning potential jurors as to Robert Sylvester Kelly. Sealed document to be used only in conjunction with selection and response and opposition on the 133 motion in line to admit on charges, blah, blah, blah. I think we did that one too. Letter providing additional proposed questions to veneer as to Robert Sylvester Kelly entered on August 9th. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Okay. Give me a second. I'm gonna get it up. I'm trying to see which one I want to. Oh Lord, how many pages is this? Let me see. See if I can get it to enlarge. So, okay. Oh, that's too big. I can't see it. I can't get it to center though, you guys. So hold on. kidding me right now? I should have done this the other way, because now I can't get it to. What you call me, Daddy Pappy? Okay, so this one right here just seems like it's the memorandum of law in support of Robert Kelly's motions to dismiss. But this is entirely too long for me to be trying to read tonight, and it's almost 12 o'clock. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. I got it. Look at that. I'm clicking buttons, dude. Hey, I'm clicking buttons, girl. All right. I don't know if y'all can see. Let me see. I'm waiting for my phone to catch up so I can see if you guys can see. They're gonna feel the wrath. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Daddy Pappy. My phone is behind again. Stupid Wi-Fi. Come on. Kelly respectfully submits this memorandum of law in support of his pretrial motion to dismiss in advance of trial in this matter, which is scheduled to commence on August 18, 2021. This motion seeks to dismiss the predicate acts alleged in count 1, numbers 12 and 14, as well as the Mann Act violations. They seek to dismiss the Mann Act alleged in the count 6 through the count 9, and in the count 1 racketeering act, racketeering act 2, racketeering act 3, racketeering act 7, racketeering act 10, and dispute the venue in the third superseding indictment filed that was on March 13th of 2020. They're doing that in pursuant to the rule of 12B2 of the federal rules of the criminal procedure, abbreviated with the FRCP. Right, just checking, making sure you guys are still with me, because I don't see you guys unless I look down at my phone. It's 13 pages, so I'm gonna try to whip right through it, you guys. Mr. Kelly is charged in the third superseding indictment of racketeering in violations of the Title 18 United States Code 1962, small c, in count 1, in violations of the Mann Act in count 2 through. If it start repeating itself, I'm gonna scream. Violations alleged in count 6 through 9 all rely upon 2 New York statutes: the New York Public Health Law, PHL, and the New York Criminal Penal Law, CPL. Additionally, Mr. Kelly asserts the affirmative defense of the statute of limitations with regard to count 1, Racketeering Act 1, pursuant to his Illinois Criminal Code, section 533-1, 5/5-1. This is too much dashing and slashing and crashing. Illinois Criminal Code section. There is a 3-year statute of limitation. For the above mentioned, I gotta put you guys here so I can see, because I can't see, violations of the Illinois Criminal Code. Under the Illinois Criminal Code 720, there is a 3-year statute of limitation for the above mentioning of the Racketeering Act 1. Okay, so there was a 3-year statute of limitation on that. Mr. Kelly also seeks to dismiss of count 1, Racketeering Act 2, Racketeering Act 7, Racketeering Act 10. Oh, I'm gonna have to go pull that paper up again. Mr. Kelly has previously filed a motion to strike the count related to the New York Public Health Law, which relied on the PHL, which was the Public Health Law, 2307, as it to be announced unconstitutional. This motion is distinguishable from the previous motion because Mr. Kelly is asserting that the acts alleged should be dismissed pursuant to 12B 2 Federal Rules of the Criminal Procedure. The legal standard part that they did file is what they submit to the court of law under different, some of them could be the case findings and things like that. So they found some case logs, kind of what the prosecution had did in one of their motions, and they put a whole bunch of case logs in there. So they came back and started hitting with case logs as well for their fact findings of why they want a lot of the racketeering acts, which is 2 and 7, to be dismissed, as well as the Mann Act, which they allege is in violations of count 6 and count 9. So, and all of those are all in circumventing of the Racketeering Act on here. So way to go, way to go. They attached some case logs to their shit there. What you gonna do? I'm just saying, y'all. But let's move on. Mr. Kelly has previously filed a motion to strike, so we did all of that, blah, blah, blah. His arguments, they came back in under the legal standard by sitting a few case logs up in there to bag up their reasoning of why they believe. Okay, Harlem, you still here? Okay. Harlem's still with me, y'all. Why they believe that some of these counts should be dismissed and striked. Consistent with this rule, the courts have fashioned the following standards to govern a pretrial motion challenging the sufficiency of an indictment. Courts regard in an indictment sufficient if it sets forth the elements of the offense charge, puts the defendant on a fair notice of the charges. Did they give him a fair notice of it? The charges against which he must defend, and enables the defendant to assert a double jeopardy, which he had been screaming all the time. But somehow Gayle King didn't fit. You mean all these women are gonna lie on you? All these women? And he's sitting there telling the woman that this is double jeopardy. They should not be able to try me for something that they had already done in my previous case. He kept saying that, but no, Gayle King wanted to, well, all of these women are lying, and all of these women are. I was like, oh, Gayle, shut up. A sufficiency challenge does not allow a court to question the strength of the government's case or its evidence for the indictment should be tested solely on the basis of the allegations made on its face, and such allegations to be taken as true. For the court under the motion to dismiss an indictment, the question is not whether the government has presented sufficient evidence to support the charge, but solely whether the allegations in the indictment, if true, are sufficient to establish a violations of the charge offense. They also found something to cite to weigh their statement with some proof of evidence behind it by putting in citing the United States versus the Sampson's case log as well. I can imagine that one is probably really big to read too. And this is one reason why the attorneys, in my opinion, were letting the judge know that we don't have enough time. We have to have more time. We need more time, because in order to push your case forward with some facts that you're trying to show to the juror, you're going to have to go back and try to cite a lot of case logs that has actually presented to the courts this similar incident of what Mr. Kelly is going through. So you look for that type of evidence to help your case. You put them in there. Hey, well, right here in the United States versus the Sampson, hey, this was the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and how is it if they can find evidence to support their narrative of what they're trying to put if you don't give them time to do their research, to help them win. And this is what they were asking to do. Now that I am seeing a lot of the case logs submitted into their motions with what they're writing up, I'm liking that. I'm liking it now. I'm liking it now. It's like, how could the judge says no, 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 when over here they said yes, yes, yes. Hold up. It says here, in the limited circumstances, however, this court has held that a district court may dismiss charges at a pretrial stage where the operative facts are undisputed and the government fails to object to the district court's consideration of those undisputed facts in making the determination regarding a submissible case. Pretrial dismissal based on undisputed facts is a determination that, as a matter of law, the government is incapable of proving its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Dismissal in this manner is the rare exception, not the rule. And I like to call it ID, but it's ID. Dismissals under this exception are not made on account of a lack of evidence to support the government's case, but because undisputed evidence shows that, as a matter of law, the defendant could not have committed the offense for which he was indicted. The United States versus Todd on that one, y'all, in case y'all want to go pull that case log up to actually see and do some comparison of what the defense attorneys are trying to show to the courts through their motion. So simply put, this case fits this rare exception. If the operative facts are not in dispute, if the government does not offer a reasonable objection to the court's inquiry into the evidence, and if the defendant seeks dismissal, not because the evidence is lacking, but because the undisputed evidence shows he could not have committed the offense as charged. There is no reasonable objection regarding the evidence because it is undisputed that PHL, and you guys remember what the PHL was, let's go back up and we'll remember what the PHL is, the public health law. So let's not forget what the PHL was. And we'll go back down to where we were. Does not include herpes, okay? Herpes is not an acute bacterial venereal disease such as syphilis or gonorrhea. Therefore, it does not fall under PHL. And the relating counts should be dismissed as a matter of law. So, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, do the prosecutors will have their licensed physician in that is licensed to practice in venereal diseases, explaining the herpes aspect of what they are trying to accuse Mr. Sylvester Kelly on. What do you guys think on that? Because in order to prove this, in my opinion, I think that the prosecutors are going to have them a licensed physician that practices venereal diseases, and I believe that the defense have inserted this in of stating what they believe is true under the PHL about syphilis. They're going to have to, in my opinion, as well have a legal licensed physician, the health department. Thank you, Sandra. To bring their medical studies professions up in here to also bag this up, to make sure that what the defense attorney is claiming is actual factual, so I can see that happening. I can see that happening, you guys. A new regulations which affected minors' consent to HIV-related services was enacted on February 9, 2017, and in Section 23.1 and 23.2 of Title 10 of the official compilations of the code rules and regulations of the state of New York were amended. As a result of this amendment, the New York State Department of Health issued a regulatory impact statement. The regulatory impact statement included a section titled Assessment of Public Comments. The comments were received from health and care providers that provided treatment to patients who are HIV positive, community-based organizations and government agencies. Okay. One of the comments is that some commenters expressed concern that the proposed regulations could have the effect of making it a misdemeanor under PHL for HIV positive individuals to have sexual intercourse in some circumstances. In response to the comment, the NYSODOH, which was the New York State Department of Health, stated that it is not aware of any instance of an individual being charged with the misdemeanor under the public health law, the PHL. So the New York State Department of Health further commented and explained, notably, the PHL was added in 1943 to prevent the spread of disease such as syphilis and gonorrhea. They had also touched the website for their fact finding to support their statement that they included in this motion. The citations comes directly from the NYSDOH, and it is part of the new regulations which affected minors' consent to HIV-related service. New York state law allows minors to consent to HIV prevented, and including PEP, just as they consent to other productive or sexual, and they went to the sections on that. Blur, blur, blur. They're going to speak on something related to how things were regarding venereal infections during the World War II. So they brought in this motion some more fact finding by using some fact finding, probably some statistical numbers and things from the military during the World War II. They also used that as well, implemented that as a fact finder as well. The department interprets the law as only applying to individuals who knowingly expose another individual to an acute bacterial venereal disease such as syphilis or gonorrhea. At that point, no changes have been made to the regulations in response to these comments, and they're asking for the courts to see Exhibit A, which would be on page 15 and 16. Okay, they got some exhibits going on with it too, y'all. I don't know. This motion came pretty freaking good, you guys. They got inserts of case logs, and they have their exhibits to further prove their belief about this alleged contracting of the herpes case that we all know who brought that out about Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Knowing that, in my opinion, that these women who has alleged this horrific incident between two people joining together and sexually intercoursing each other, you know, you would have to be somewhere close near to being a goddamn virgin, because if you were not a virgin and you are sexually active, it is so hard to point the finger at one person gave this to me. And that, in my opinion, is a fact. I'm sorry. From your first goddamn partner out there. So I know the World Health Organization classifies herpes as HSV1 and HSV2 as viruses, not an acute bacterial venereal disease. Everybody got that? Herpes is classified as a virus, not an acute bacterial venereal disease like syphilis or gonorrhea. As a result of the WHO classification, which is the World Health Organization, the herpes is not an acute bacterial venereal disease. So if it is not a venereal disease, how does the prosecution determine to argue if one of the Janes does was giving this disease, like she said on one of her TV talk shows with I was another lady, and she was sitting in a chair, you know, with the long hair, the Jane Doe was, and said that, well, he, you know, I contracted herpes as if it was an acute bacterial venereal disease, when in fact here the defending team for Mr. Sylvester Kelly has brought forth proof and factual information pertaining the herpes HSV1 and HSV2, that it is actually a virus and not an acute bacterial. Okay. It says here also to allow the government to move forward with those counts would be to allow a clear mischaracterization and interpretation of the application of the statute. Considering the statute clearly does not incorporate herpes, it is unequivocal that this law was passed to prevent exposure as an acute bacterial venereal disease. It is unequivocal that this law was passed to prevent exposure to an acute bacterial venereal disease. They also attach their fact finding. Here it says fact sheets, the details of what herpes simplex virus is. If only the prosecution would have taken time. What was her attorney name? Gallred. If only Gallred had really taken time to pull up a fact sheet check, maybe she wouldn't have came out of her character to bag up the Jane Doe, claiming that she contracted this venereal diseases that she called herpes, which is not a venereal disease. It's just a virus. You would think that the attorney would kind of override the fact that, oh, I can probably get paid for saying this shit here, but look into the fact of it and be like, listen, what you claiming of what you have is not what it is said to be. Let me show you the fact sheet. So do you really want to come out here and make these accusations that you contracted the herpes simplex, which what now we all know, according to this fact sheet, is just a virus and not a bacterial venereal disease, Tim Savage. I'm just saying, such as syphilis or gonorrhea and not herpes. Therefore, as a matter of law and a factual impossibility, the court must dismiss all of these counts, every last one, even dismiss Gloria R.Red. I'm sorry, I'll keep moving on. That alleged a violation of PHL. Now, somebody better tell me how the heck is it that the defense can come and attach all of these fact findings according to what the venereal diseases are, and put in the correct fact findings of defining what herpes simplex is, and what it is not. How the prosecutors couldn't find this information, so that way they wouldn't have to waste people's time by coming out here and trying to prosecute this man on something that is not, when they done put it up here in dark black ass letters for them. I don't understand that. I don't. You're absolutely right, Sandra. You're absolutely right. So with that being, Sandra, you want to tell me why is all the stores filled up with all that Carmex and this or this or that? So everybody buys it for the chapped lips and everything, but it's the first thing that people would run and get when you get one of them cold sores on your lip. You go be running to get some of that to put it on there, right? So is the whole world, we need to know everybody that bought what is the name of it? The complex. What is the name of that stuff you put on your lips? Yeah. How many people have bought that shit? So it says here that this law was amended in 46. It was not until 67 that the scientists created the concept of genital herpes. Oh, so I mean, did a cuckoo act? I don't know. We're not even going to get into that, no. As a matter of the law, the government is incapable of proving its case beyond a reasonable doubt as to count 1, numbers 12 and 14, as well as the Mann Act violations alleged in count 6 through 9. First, the statute of government is attempting to use the do not apply to herpes. The statute provides a person who, knowing himself or herself to be infected with an infectious venereal diseases, hello ladies in the chat, hello everybody, has sexual intercourse with another shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. That fact finding was also in a case log by Plaza versus Estate of Worcester. While the public health law does not define the term venereal diseases, it clearly, although not explicitly, excludes HIV infection from that category. The NYSDOH, as stated above, issued a clear, bright line clarification of what the intentions of the law was when it passed. Further, the department interprets that the law as only applying to individuals who knowingly expose another individual to an acute bacterial venereal disease such as syphilis or gonorrhea. Therefore, individual as cited by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, that herpes as it is alleged in this indictment is not included under that statute. Moreover, it wasn't until 1967 that the scientists first distinguished between HSV-1 and HSV-2 types, effectively creating the concept of genital herpes. The bill has not been modified since 1946, you guys. That would be 21 years before the concept of genital herpes was even created. Wow, I even got educated on that, you guys. Okay, 46, that's a long time ago. If the court permits this statute to apply in this case, there is no limit to the government's power to charge people with HIV of the same crime. Woo, imagine that. That's what's up. Woo, that means that if you're going to allow, Carmex, the Carmex stuff. Everybody, there's a lot of people out there be buying that Carmex, y'all. I'm just saying. So, here, from what I can understand it, if you're going to allow the way that the government is trying, the prosecutor is trying to use this allegations against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly about this alleged herpes claim that one of the Jane Does has brought forth against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, then they would have to open up the doors to allow people that is HIV use it the same way. Well, he gave it to me. Well, she gave it to me. Well, he gave it. Oh, yeah. And that's what they're trying to say out here. When you know that there is fact findings against this Jane Doe by saying that he gave me a venereal disease, when in fact that we just found out, and most of us already knew, that the venereal disease does not apply to having herpes. It's just a virus is what R.Kelly's defense team has applied here in their motion, along with an exhibit and some fact findings from previous scientists out there. So I really hope that and pray that, that this will work. I am absolutely astounded that they have attached so many case logs to their research. So the alleged conduct does not, as a matter of law, constitutes reckless endangerment, is what they're saying. Since the government is unable to support a conviction for reckless endangerment as a matter of law. It is necessary to understand that the New York Penal Code for reckless endangerment, which encompasses two key elements. It must have reckless behavior and it must have substantial risk of serious physically injured. So I'll ask the chat room, can you name any one of the females that you have seen or heard speak that has suffered from any physical injuries from Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, or any, as a matter of fact, any reckless behavior besides what they told you on the Lifetime docuseries? I seen nobody with a neck brace on. I seen nobody show bruises from handcuffs. I seen nobody haul a rope with them as a souvenir. What happened to the rope? Where's that at? That would have been your evidence had you been smart enough to keep it if it was in a hog-tie rope. But since you don't have that as evidence to prove to the court about your case that you was hog-tied, then that's your problem. God, I don't think there was no hog-tie rope there to tie you up with. So I don't know how they felt that they were going to prove that there was some serious physical injury done to any one of them. And this is what Mr. Kelly's defense team is trying to show to the court. They don't believe that any reckless endangerment was brought forth on what the government is trying to paint the picture to the world as, period. Let's move on. In New York, a person is guilty of reckless endangerment in the second degree. So when he or she recklessly engages in conduct which creates a substantial risk of serious physical injury. Oh my God, the only physical injury that I saw with Ashanti McGee was them big ass granny panties that she had. But let's move on. That was some physical injury. I don't care what y'all say. There was some big old Fruit of the Looms up there. I'm just saying that could be some serious physical injury, or it might have caused some physical injury, to my eyes. I don't know. And the other physical injury was how she can't even goddamn it dance and up there trying to be with a damn superstar. She need to go get some extra in a life to learn how to dance, I guess. The question becomes as to whether the actions described in this accusatory instrument established. So if true, every element of the offense charged in the defendant commission thereof as required by the CPL. The defense counsel respectfully submits that the information is insufficient. You know why? Because they're saying that they failed to describe reckless conduct, meaning where are your details at to these women that has these allegations that they suffer from serious physical injury? Where are the neck braces at? Where's the patch over the eye at? Where's the stitches at that they said? Where's the cup at to the doo-doo? Where's these physical injuries? They want to see descriptions. Where are the details at? Where are they? That's what they want to see. So I'm sorry, but let's move on. Not a single one. I have not seen a cast on nobody. I believe they also just here in this sentence alone, where is all of the documentations? Where is your evidence from legal physicians, from a healthcare provider? This is what they're saying in this. Oh, y'all, look, I got to go to bed, but I got to finish this. So if you not wanted to stick around or whatever, you know, this is taking just a few, because we're just on page 8 and we got to get to 13. I'm trying to get through it as fast as I can, but I kind of like to stop just to kind of play around with a sentence or two. So, but if you must leave, that's fine. I'm staying right here until I finish, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to pop the other next motion out and the other motion out. Or maybe we should peep into tonight's motion that just got dropped, but I don't want to get ahead of myself at all. Okay, so let's go on. The defense counsel respectfully submit the information is insufficient because it fails to describe, and everybody knows what describe means in the chat room. Well, the information that the prosecutors are trying to present, they fail to describe any reckless conduct that would present a substantial risk of serious physical injury. And last that I checked, saying that he hurt your feelings or he didn't buy you a burgie and I can't stand him and oh, he cheated on me is not a part of the category of suffering from any serious physical injury. That's just you suffering from being in your goddamn feelings out here. And let me keep moving on, Doc. Case law is clear that reckless endangerment is defined in terms of the risk produced by defendant's conduct, not intent. There's that word again, by his conduct. And factual impossibility eliminates the risk essential to. Okay, and they got a website attached to that, and they brought along a case finding with that as well to bag up their physical, their physical reckless endangerment, but physical injury. Yeah, they attach that with it too. Y'all better check it out. I'm astounded. They got some case logs popping on here, y'all. In fact, the actions of the defendant as described, it do not meet the gross deviation from the standard of conduct code. I just threw code in there, y'all. Principle established for recklessness. And they also have a case log attached to that as well. In the instant case, the defendant is charged with reckless endangerment, in which the charged conduct is adult, consensual sexual intercourse. They loved it there. Therefore, the conduct of consensual adult intercourse is what must be considered in this case. Let's stop right there, right? Because you have the prosecutor who is pushing the fact that most of, or if not all of these women were all underage. So let's keep that one in mind as well, right? But right here, you have this defense motion for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. They're painting the picture to everybody, the courts and everything. And we've heard the judge also say, please address them as what? Young women, right? They're women now, right? So that's got to bite hard at the prosecution when all of the consent since the indictment started to drop out here, the girls and drunken Larry as well, might I add, the girls, right? But here you have the defense. Wonderful strategy, must I say, that came back, and they're sticking with letting the courts know in this motion that this was adult, a consensual intercourse going on. So had they believed, based on whatever discovery that they were able to look over, or their fact finding, meaning that they took the time to sit down, and go over birth dates and the times that they met with them. And shout out to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. He probably even told them exactly, where this one here, she came to the party, and this, he finally found somebody who he can actually give his story to. Now, I don't know what to have thought of this motion had he had given, allegedly, I'm not saying that he did, had he had shared what he wanted to share with Greenberg. I don't know. I can't honestly say that. I mean, it's a possibility that Greenberg might have threw the word girls up in here. I'm just saying, but no shade on attorneys, because that's not what I'm here to do. So, but I do like the findings that they did stick to what is at hand and what the public out here that is for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly believe, and will believe that these women that came into Mr. Kelly's presence were of age and were adults. So they did address that accordingly. And I like that, but I'm going to move on. As this case above states, factual impossibility eliminates the risk essential to commission of the crime, because permitting the government to proceed with a reckless endangerment charge based on an adult consensual sexual intercourse would be indirect contravention of the law. Mean that, but I'm understanding that, number one, you ain't proved nothing about these are being girls or underage illegal girls. So that wasn't proven yet. And if they continue to push forth that these women of what they are supposed to be called now, according to the judge, they are supposed to be called women now. You still have not proven to the defense in any discovery or anything of the actual age of these women. Seems like they tried so desperately to hide everything that it's kind of biting them in the ass, the prosecution side, from what I'm understanding with this one, this paragraph here. So let's move on. And that's just my opinion. Now, I will be back into the chat room momentarily, and I can drop the link in, or you can call in. I'll open the phone lines up, but I would like to hear just one or two of you guys' opinions of what you guys think about the defense attorneys sticking to addressing this as an adult consensual intercourse. Now, I'm not going to play devil's advocate right now. Okay, let's move on. Reckless behavior. Another reason the reckless endangerment charge fails, as Centola cites, pursuant to penal law, states as follows. A person acts recklessly with respect to a result or to a circumstance described by a statute defining an offense when he or she is aware of and consciously disregards a substantial and unjustifiable risk that such result will occur or that such circumstances exist. The risk must be of such nature and degree that disregard thereof constitutes a gross deviation. That means away from the fact of things, right? From the standard of code that a reasonable person would observe in the situation. In this case, if the reckless endangerment charge is permitted, this would endanger every person who engages in an adult consensual sexual intercourse. Okay. Essentially, the law requires that the risk connected to a reckless endangerment charge must demonstrate a gross deviation from the standard of conduct that a reasonable person would observe and permitting this charge. I gotta stop right there because we all have seen the Azriel Clary come on and play out her part of what she may call a reckless endangerment from eating or I don't know, something in a cup or whatever. We all saw that, right? So do you guys think that that would be in the category of reckless endangerment, or would that just be stupid on her behalf? What do you guys think about that? Let's reckless endangerment with Azriel with her stunt of saying that Mr. Kelly made her eat poop out of a cup. What do you guys think about it? Do you think that that aligns with a reckless endangerment charge against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly or no? He said that's how Nicole had to be a paralegal before a lawyer. She had to work side big lawyers. She had to learn to do the research for the lawyers like Greenberg. Absolutely. I just wanted to know what you guys thought about the reckless endangerment. So how we doing in the chat, Maz? Am I okay? The sound is still good and the screen is good. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if you guys can see it well, but I'm reading it pretty good. So we are now on page 10 of 13. So it says that the standard of conduct that a reasoned person would observe in the situation and permitting discharge. Exactly. Stupidity. Like what? What up, Tori? To stand would be tantamount to criminalizing adult consensual sexual intercourse. The statute and the case law are not designed to criminalize behavior that is unequivocally legal. Therefore, the reckless endangerment charge should be dismissed. So if I'm going to jump back just for a second, because I want to stay on the reckless endangerment just for a second, and as Clary, right, who came out and claimed that she ate poop. So here, to my understanding, it also saying that unless this person can, in order for this person to be charged with any type of reckless endangerment charge, it must be demonstrated. In other words, where and how would Azriel show the court, if it's permissible, or even if she shows up, because she seemed to be busy out there making Oochie Coochie lotion right now, so she might not have time to show up because they're going to be cutting into her money. I don't know. I'm just saying, people don't like their money interrupted, but she pretty busy hiring people too to help her with her business. But how would she be able to prove such a hideous act that she claims of what Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly made her do? How? Now she got a video where R.Kelly is hitting her upside her head. She just keep popping up with a whole bunch of stuff, huh? The substantial risk of serious physical injury. We're starting 10 out of 13. It says here that the serious physical injury means physical injury in which creates a substantial risk of death, or which causes death or serious and protracted disfigurement. Disfigurement. I have a question for the chat room. Have you guys heard any of these ladies say that they were admitted into a hospital, or was 911 ambulance called out? Were they taken out on a stretcher from his home or anything? And I'd like to see what you guys answers would be on that. I can see the chat room right now. Have you seen any of these women with any talking about any serious physical injury that led them into the hospital for days or nights and weeks or so, or any ambulatory service coming to remove them from the home of these allegations that they are claiming that there is any, that there was physical harm, injuries done to them? Because I have not had Shanti use her foot, according to her, for being trapped in a damn Sprinter to kick the window out now. And she might have need to go to the doctor to get a toe repair, but since she didn't do that either, I'm gonna have to say that I don't believe that she was trapped in a goddamn Sprinter. So, but let's move on. So it says that, or which causes death or serious protracted disfigurement, protracted impairment of health, or protracted loss of impairment. I don't know, defense attorneys. I have to disagree, because there's quite a few of them that they might have lost some impairment out there. Now they all a little unbalanced and dysfunctional. So if we look at it that way, these are some crazy people now. I don't think Mr. Kelly caused them to be crazy and cuckoo and impaired, but I'm just saying that some of them is a little fucked up, defense. I'm just saying, but I know you can't put that in that motion like that. And I know you prove in this case that this is something that Mr. Kelly didn't have absolutely to do with. But I know somewhere you could have put in fine prints somewhere that these goddamn women was cuckoo and crazy before they came anywhere around him. But let me move on. Impairment of the function of any bodily organ. So they still got all their organs and everything too. Half of them, though, the defense probably ain't even an organ donor. So it's just all messed up. Another reason why this court should dismiss the reckless endangerment charge is because adult consensual intercourse is between two consenting adults, whereby engaging in such activity does not lead to any serious physical injury, which would create a risk of death. Again, so if the court failed to dismiss the reckless endangerment charge, it would create a potential to criminalize other legal conduct. And that's true. If you open up one Pandora box, you never know what the next one is going to open up to be, out of someone else's case, because Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, when he's vindicated, you best to believe he's going, and there's another similar case, 2 years or so, you best to believe his case log is going to be a hot damn commodity. Good Lord. Everybody's going to be attaching this win-win goddamn trial here. Like, But I'm just saying, dog, it's a possibility. Nevertheless, information charging reckless endangerment in second degree by their very nature are fact specific, and said facts must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis in determining sufficiency. But the allegations must amount to more than a mere supposition that the actions of the defendant could cause serious physical injury. Now, how the hell do you think that they gonna pull that off? How the heck do you think that they're gonna be able to pull off that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly caused any serious physical injury to any of these women when they never talked about physical injury? Nobody said they had a broken arm or a broken leg. The only person that really came out here and really said something was the hog time ex-Kelly. And she ain't even got the rope or the pit, nothing. The man said that he didn't even know what hog time is. But you made an accusation about this is something that he did to you. The same way that Sparker came out and said that she heard somebody knocking on the door, but continued to sit there and watch a freaking basketball game or something in a thing. Hell, Sparker didn't even care about your ass up there allegedly banging on a freaking door when all you had to do was turn the door knob from the inside to get out, because who the hell put the locks on the outside of the door to put the skeleton key in it to lock the doors, except for most people would do it for them bedrooms or something. But I don't think that was the kids locked in the room. Where was the kids at? I'm just asking for a friend. There is nothing in the allegations that allege that the defendant caused physical. Let's repeat that again. There is nothing in the allegations of any of these women that allege that the defendant, Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, caused any serious physical injury. Now, you remember that, right, Azariel? Because, oh, your man looked good from the back of the courtroom and his head, oh, and you remember what you said over on the Lifetime, whatever crap that shit was about. He's a good man. And what did they do for him? And he took care of them, and he did this, and he did that, and he did this. Oh, I bet you didn't see this motion for serious physical injury coming at your ass, did you? But nevertheless, let's move on. Therefore, the court must dismiss the reckless endangerment charge. So that means, Azria, your poopity scoop ain't shit over here. I'm just saying. They're not interested in your poopity scoop, girl. Racketeering, count 1, act 1, racketeering, act 3, should be dismissed as well, because the alleged violations of the law are made outside the statute of limitations. And it is based on the undisputed facts. That sound like something Muhammad Ali would say, because it's about to be a knockout. We're running these statutes of limitations, baby. Let's get it. That's what I've been waiting on. I want them to press. You gotta press it. The statute of limitations. Everything have a statute of limitations. Even your goddamn eggs that you even freeze. Them suckers ain't gonna stay frozen that long in that refrigerator. You go down there and you try to, I meant the frozen sperm egg, right? And you try to get one, right? So you can use it so that you can try to have you a child, right? Shit. Yeah, damn. Once they unthaw that shit and it's been sitting in there for 20 damn years, you end up coming out with a baby with 2 heads. You better not fuck with that shit. It's a statute of limitation, daughter. You can't freeze your meat in your freezer for 20 years. It's gonna have frostbite. It's gonna frostbite, right? It ain't gonna be no more good. It's gonna have ice and shit all on it. Ain't no more damn good. The hell think you people out here falling for that damn frozen egg shit? Knowing damn well that's how them women over there in China is stuck with them 2 babies attached together. They fucked around with them frozen 20-year-old ass sperms and eggs and shit going on around here. I'm just saying, I like this one. I think this one might be my favorite. What is this motion that they filed attacking the statute of limitations because it's based on the undisputable fact. Muhammad Ali, they threw a punch in there on them, which is a determination that as a matter of law, the government is incapable of proving its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The allegations contained in count 1, the Racketeering Act 1, and that Racketeering Act 3, and that Racketeering Act 5, God dang on it, the defense says right now that you need to dismiss it because the allegations are violations of the law. It occurred outside the prescribed statutory period of time such claims could be made. Now, I don't understand how, if the defense is finding this right here about the statutes of limitations, why is it that the prosecutors are determining to move forth on something that they know this is expired? But you know what? We're going to try to use it anyway because this is all the shit that we got up our sleeve, like Bo Winkle. We got to try whatever we got to try. But this is what fighting is all about, the opposing team and the defending team. So, and what the defendant is saying right now is, let's get it. They ready. They strapped up. Count 1, Racketeering Act 1, the bribery. The bribery. How old is that bribery, you guys? They have it stated in here. Happened back in 1994. How the hell is you going to bring something back in 1994? Now, I'll ask the chat room. How many of you guys, well, no, I better not ask the chat room because most of y'all probably remember. I don't really know what the hell all I did in 1994. I can't tell you. Can you guys tell what you guys were doing in 1994? I can't tell you that shit. I don't even know. I'm doing so much shit. I don't even know. But right here, it says under the Illinois Criminal Code section 725/3-6, there is a 3-year statute of limitation for the above mentioning section, which is the bribery section, is what they're hitting on. Okay. So it says the alleged act is to have occurred back in August 30th, 1994. The allegations in this complaint was made on or around about March 13th, 2021. This is clearly well beyond the 3-year statute of limitations. How many of you guys actually knew that there was a statute of limitation pertaining any type of bribery allegations or charges? How many of you guys knew that? How many of you guys actually took the time to look up to see what was the statute of limitation off of a bribery charge? She said the light bill. Okay, so let's move on. I just want to know how many of you guys actually took the time to look and see if there was any statute of limitation pertaining to a bribery charge. Ain't no way, Shannon. Nah, girl. Like who does that? Count 1, Racketeering Act 3. We are now on 11 out of 13, you guys. So we're getting through it. And count 1, Racketeering Act 1, kidnapping, asserts the violation of the Illinois Criminal Code as well. So now they're coming at the kidnapping allegations against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Under the Illinois Criminal Code, Section 720, and it has all of the 5/10(1), 5/10 and 2. There is also a 3-year statute of limitation for the above mentioning section, the kidnapping charge. Okay. The alleged act is to have occurred in or about 2003 and 2004. So the allegations in this complaint was made on or about March 13th of 2021. This is clearly well beyond, they put well beyond. In other words, why are we still talking about something that is well beyond the 3-year statute of limitation? Huh? That's what they want to know. Why? I keep forgetting, Shannon, and that's okay. You still just got to love me to say. But tonight, I'm going to remember, and I promise you that, Shannon, you're going to be my Shannon guy. You my Shannon guy. You my Shannon guy. I got it now. You ain't going to never have to correct me no more on that. But let me keep apologizing to you as well, though. You are my Shannon guy. You are. So I would definitely remember. So forgive me. Forgive me. So it says that the allegations in this complaint was made on about March 13th, 2021. So this is clearly well beyond the 3-year statute of limit. Y'all send Shannon some hearts for me, mods. Let them know that I'm sorry. Therefore, count 1, Racketeering Act 1 should be dismissed. Moving on down the road, because we have made it to number 12, you guys, and this is the count 1 of the Racketeering Act 2, Racketeering Act 7, Racketeering Act 10. They want this one dismissed as well, based on the undisputed facts, which is a determination that as a matter of law, the government is still incapable of proving its case beyond a reasonable of doubt. Says here that count 1, Racketeering Act 2, Racketeering 7 and 10, which included the allegations that certain Jane Does, thank you ladies, engaged in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of producing one or more visual depictions of such conduct. They also brought along a case log with that, which was the U.S. versus Broxmire. So the court held that. To secure. They held that. They held it, y'all. Tucked it under their belts. And let's find out the reason why that they do that. To secure a conviction for production of child pornography. The government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that 1, the victim was less than 18 years old. Have they done that? Don't think that it was submitted in some of the discovery. I don't know. That's just my opinion. The defendant used the employed, persuaded, they induced, they enticed, they coerced the minor to take part in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of producing a visual depiction of that conduct. Number 3 says that the visual depiction was produced using materials that had been transported in interstate and foreign commerce. And who did that job? I'll wait. Who did that? However, there is no evidence that visual depictions exist. Therefore, as a matter of law, and because it is impossible to find the Mr. Kelly of these allegations should be dismissed. Did you like your heart, Shannon? Sent you all those hearts. Look at all them hearts for you. Let's go to the venue. It is clearly established that where the venue is challenged on a pretrial motion to dismiss, The government's burden is limited to showing that the indictment alleged facts sufficient to support the venue. That's the United States versus Peterson law case, okay? So Mr. Kelly is seeking dismissal of count 1, numbers 12 and 14, as well as the Mann Act violations alleged in the count 6 through the count 9. Do y'all know how, let me do this. Can y'all imagine what the prosecutors are over there doing when they dropped this? They was doing this. They was over there going through so much paperwork. See, so not only is the prosecutors making the defense work extra hard and a whole bunch of hours, the defense, their comeback off of this motion, oh, they're going to have them prosecutors working even harder, right? Because now they have to go back and see what is it that they allege from the Mann Act of count 6 and count 9. Then they got to go back and see what they had allegedly put in on Mr. Sylvester Kelly on the kidnapping charge. Then they got to go back and reread what they put in their motions to go forward on Mr. Sylvester Kelly and their bribery charge. So they're making their ass work too. They're gonna get to the point to be, okay, we take that out. They done found some shit that caught us in the lie and tried to manipulate the courts out here with some bullshit. But let's move on. Let's move on. If the court grants Mr. Kelly's motion, it is respectfully submitted that the Eastern District of New York would not be an appropriate venue. Okay? As courts have held, the government bears the burden of proving. The courts have held the government bears the burden of proving, which means that they are the ones that have to prove themselves of the shit that they bring to this trial. Okay? By a preponderance of evidence, the venue exists. If the only acts that have actually been alleged in the third superseding indictment to have taken place within the Eastern District of New York are dismissed, then the government cannot prove by a preponderance of evidence that venue properly exists in the Eastern District of New York. You say bat punches, the air is what they are doing. And girl, ain't it? I'm like, they like, oh damn, they on to us. They on to us. In conclusion, for the foregoing reasons, Mr. Kelly respectfully asks this court to grant his motion to dismiss in its entirety all of these counts of allegations that the prosecution and these alleged women has brought forth towards him pertaining the physical injury, harm, and kidnapping, and Mann Act, and the bribery case. So shout out to the defense team with this motion, you guys. And let me go and see if there was a response to the motion. And if there wasn't, you guys, let me stop sharing here. Hey, y'all still with me? Are y'all still with me out there? Thanks for joining the chat. Everybody that has joined the chat, don't forget to hit the like button out there. I'm staying up for a little while with you guys. And y'all know my day start at 7 a.m. So just for a little while, I will be back tomorrow night to do a part 2. If I'm going to get through these motions with everybody. I know you guys have heard them all, but I am here to do some recapping over to the ladies who hangs out over here on my channel over here. So just to bring them some things that's going on as well. Let me look at this exhibit right quick, y'all. Let me see the exhibit. Okay, I'm gonna skip the exhibit part because we kind of went into a little bit in depth about the differences of knowing what the venereal diseases and also an acute virus. So we learned the difference between those two, and that's pretty much what this exhibit is showing them, the difference of knowing what the genital herpes simplex is and the gonorrhea and syphilis and so on and so forth when it comes to any type of STD infection. So I'm not going to do that, but let's go down to, which is seal, and not to buy that on the Pacer, but I am going to buy on Pacer. So give me a second, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the reply to the response on Pacer. So hold on for 1 second. I got to go make my purchase. So sit tight, y'all. Be right back. Be right back. Sit tight, tight. Let me get it pulled up. And while you guys wait, let me. Oh shit. Hold on. Okay. Let me do this because I gotta pull it up. Let's find something else softer. Like so.
I'ma make you mine tonight, pulling your hair, baby. I feel you breathing on me, on you. You know that I'm a selfish lover. When it's mine, I want it. One track mind for it, for you. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Party's never over for me. My favorite Toy Story. Both people chasing me. Woody, let me be a fantasy. Swiss Army King, they call me. Come find the key, baby, baby. I don't think I can let you go. I don't.
Okay. This would be the response that came in. What is this? This is dated August 9th. 2021. You guys know the drill. The Honorable Ann Donnelly. This is also the United States versus Robert Sylvester Kelly. Criminal docket number 19-281. Give it a second. You guys let me know if it's looking okay out there, moderators. Can you guys see it? Or yay, nay, what's going on with it? Have to go get me a double screen sometime this weekend, and I will take care of that. Okay, I'm gonna wait for some thumbs up. You guys let me know how it is looking. You say they need to go get their line parents and all of those embarrassed of a case. I believe you with that one though, every day. I really do. So we good, Tori? We good? We good? You guys can see Charlotte. Can you guys see? I still got Charlotte in here, so and I think my other ones might have fell asleep or they're probably taking care of something, but I just need a little bit help. Okay, so I got a thumbs up. Good. And I also, okay. What is this? Oh, so we have 4 pages to get through. So I'm just going to kind of read right through this one, you guys. It says that the government writes in reply to the defendants a supplemental opposition to the government's motions to admit other acts evidence. It says to see the letter of the Thomas A. Farinella to the court that was dated in August 6th of 2021. So, and it's the entry docket number 156. So for the reasons set forth herein and in its initial, the government submits that the court should uphold its initial rulings and permit the government to introduce evidence relating to Jane Doe 7, Jane Doe 9, 11, 12, and 14, and 15. Okay, so it says here that the defendant asserts that this conduct was only recently disclosed by the government. Defendant letter at 1. The defendant is correct with respect to Jane Doe 7 and Jane Doe 11 and Jane Doe 12, but not as to Jane Doe number 9 and Jane Doe 14 and Jane Doe 15. So the allegations as to which were disclosed in its production of the 3500 material on February 5th of 2021. Notably, the section 3500 material for the more recent disclosed witness is not voluptuous and has been produced to the defendant well in advance of the trial. Regarding disclosures of the section 3500 material to the defendant, after a witness called by the United States has testified in direct examination. The evidence relating to Jane Doe 11 and Jane Doe 12 should be admitted. So the government seeks to offer evidence that the defendant exposed Jane Doe 11 to herpes by engaging in unprotected sex with Jane Doe 11. After she had asked him whether he had any sexually transmitted disease, that she thereafter contracted herpes and that she communicated to the defendant that she believed she contracted it from him. Such evidence is relative to showing that the defendant, in fact, had evidence is relevant. What evidence do they have? Do they have Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's health records? Has he been tested? I'm asking the chat room, do they have his things to know a fact that Jane Doe 11 has contracted herpes and Mr. Kelly is the culprit that gave it to her? So I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just asking because I don't recall that being mentioned at all. So had herpes as early as 2003, and therefore to support Jane Doe number 4, account that she contracted herpes from him in or about 2009. So you got Jane number 4, she says she called it in 2009. Then you got Jane 11 saying that hers was around 2003. And when is Jane 5 and 6, the defendant exposed in 15, and then somebody called it in the 17, and somebody called it in 18. Lord have mercy. What in the world? Respectfully, Jane Doe number 11 account that she specifically asked the defendant whether he was okay. But according to the video that I saw her did, she said that there was a knock on the door or something. She showed up, right? She went right in. He didn't have much to say. She sat down on the bed, and then all of a sudden she said that some touching has started or whatever the case is. She kind of really didn't want to do it because I didn't know what y'all remember that video? Y'all remember that video? Now on that video, girl, you ain't said nothing. Now, was that the day? Was that the day that you contracted it, or what? You ain't said nothing about nothing about that at all. But you sure had a bunch of details about him coming up in the room and stuff, and you didn't really want to do nothing. You had all them details, but you left out this one damn detail. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. What's that song R.Kelly got? Imagine that. Prior to having unprotected sex with the defendant, I hope R.Kelly walk up in there with the goddamn condom that he used on you, and we use this one, you dumbass, if anything had to happen. What are you talking about? I'm just saying. Referring to whether he had any STDs, also corroborates numerously victims' accounts that it was the defendant practice to not use protection when engaging in sexual intercourse and to disregard any risk of transmitting the STDs. So finally, I gotta plug my phone up. I gotta get my phone plugged up. It's gonna die. I don't know, y'all. I got to try to get through this without my phone dying. Let me see. Do I have? Oh, everything's about to die, y'all. So I got to get through this pretty fast because I got about 15 and I didn't bring my goddamn phone charger. Oh, wait. No, I don't have my phone charger with me. So I'm sorry. It's upstairs. So let's get through this. Finally, Jane Doe's number 11 testimony that she confronted the defendant. Wait a minute. I'm only using my phone to look at y'all. So it's okay. Wait, duh. I mean, if the phone dies, it dies. I just can't see y'all right now. So finally, Jane Doe number 11 testimony that she had confronted the defendant about both. Jane Doe 11 confronted the defendant about both her herpes diagnosis and her belief that she contracted it from him is relevant to show that the defendant was on notice that the herpes is an STD and that the defendant had herpes, which is directly relevant to his knowledge and intent for the charged crimes related to his exposing charged victims to the herpes. The government also seek to admit evidence of the defendant's entry into settlement arrangements with Jane Doe 11 and 12. So you're telling me that the government will have in their possession some type of settlement agreements that was presented to Jane Doe 11 and 12? You said tell Teddy to go get my damn charge. He sleep, girl. It's after 12. My dog sleep like he the king. He got to get his beauty sleep. Oh, you said that's the coldest one right there. And imagine that, girl. I love me some Imagine That. I love that song. Imagine That. I can't even play it though, girl. That hit my channel. YouTube been on me, so I've been pretty good. The court, this is weird. So you're telling me that the government is going to be able to prove to the court that there was evidence submitted to Jane Doe in 11 and 12 about some type of freaking settlement agreement? Okay, well, Rule 408, and I have Rule 408 written down. We talked about the rules, right? Under the 412. So you got to go and look at these rules, you guys, to see what is allowing these prosecutors to have their reason to have permissible evidence in the courtroom. You got to get to the rules on a lot of these things. You just can't go off of reading what jumps out right at you. You got to dig deeper into it, though. Thank you, Sir Mick. Well, thank you. So here it goes on by telling you that to see the Fed are in it at 408B. These are important, you guys. The court may admit this evidence for another purpose, such as proving a witness bias or prejudice, negating a contingent of undue delay, or proving an effort to obstruct a criminal investigation or prosecution. First, the evidence as to the existence of the settlement agreement explains why Jane Doe number 11 did not previously disclose to anyone, including the law enforcement, the defendant's exposures of herpes to her. In addition, the agreements themselves would strongly corroborate Jane Doe 11's account. Finally, and significantly, the defendant's payments of hundreds of thousands of dollars as part of a settlement agreement were among the means and methods used by the enterprise to perpetuate and protect the enterprise. The defendant, with the help of other members of the court, suggested that the defendant could stipulate that he had herpes and that he was a sexually transmitted, and that it was a sexual transmitted disease, and that such evidence may then not be necessary. So even if he were to stipulate a stipulation he has not yet offered to make, the government should not be permitted to introduce evidence relating to Jane Doe 11. So with that, they want you to go ahead and do some more research on the case law, United States versus Salame. That's what I'm gonna come close to that. A criminal defendant may not stipulate or admit his way out of a full eventual force of the case as the government choose to present it. That one they quoted the old chief versus the United States. Okay, so we're coming up on number 3. Enterprise pays significant sum of money to discourage the defendant's victims from disclosing to anyone, including law enforcement. Now, wouldn't they be talking about something of the 2002 trial? And so you see how they try to intertwine, they try to commingle though that in there, right? Everybody is aware of the allegations of these people being paid out and by David Durham McDavid, right? And also going to the Susan Logan's attorney's office downtown Chicago, right? So everybody's aware of that. But here we are in the 2002 trial. I don't think that I recall anybody of these new allegations brought towards Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Like who was it? Who do we have? Ashanti and who else are some of these new Azrael? Has she been offered any payout money or anything? Who else do we have? Dominique, was Dominique offered a bunch of money? Or I'm talking about these people. But if we can think back with the 2002, you had Lisa Van Allen, and you have, what is the other one, the Kitty and all of those. But those are the women from a lot of from the previous case, that went on with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But here they'll tell you in this one here that the enterprise paid a significant sums of money to discourage the defendant's victims from disclosing to anyone, including the law enforcement. And just this right here alone, this to me, it tells me that they're talking about the 2002 trial. Why but so you see how they can do things, right? I'm just wanted to point that out. Let's move on. Evidence related to Jane Doe 7 and 9, 14, 15 should be admitted. For the reason described in the government's initial memorandum and consistent with the court prior rulings, the government respectfully submits that evidence related to Jane 7, 9, 14, and 15 should be admitted and will not reiterate each of those arguments herein. So in his opposition, the defendant cites only the general principle of it, all of which the court was well aware of when it initially, moving down, where are we? The government does not currently have a copy of the settlement agreement. All right, come on, tell us, defendants, come on, between the defendant of Jane Doe 11. But other agreements no, this is still the prosecution, okay. But other agreements in the government's possession show that they prohibited virtually any disclosure, including voluntary disclosure to the law enforcement. Even if the agreements in the government possessions would arguably allow disclosures to law enforcement following a court-ordered subpoena, the arguments are written in a manner that they purport to prohibit even that disclosure. So though relevant precedent makes clear that such prohibition would be against public policy and therefore unenforceable, tells you to also see another case law, throughout the country have found that the public policy interests at stake. So the reporting of possible crimes to the authority is one of the highest order and is indisputably well-defined and dominant in the jurisprudence of contract law. So there's another case law. Stating that it is obvious that agreements to conceal information relevant to commissions of crime have very little to recommend them from the standpoint of public policy, and concluding that it is apparent that the concealment of crime and agreements to do so are not looked upon with favor. It is public policy in Oklahoma and everywhere to encourage the disclosure of criminal activity, settlement agreement unenforceable as being against public policy to the extent that it purports to prevent its signatories, alleged victim of sexual assault, from voluntarily disclosing information about crimes to law enforcement. Yeah. Let's move on because we are now at the end of it. Allow the government to introduce evidence related to Jane Doe 7, 9, 14, and 15. There is thus no reason to disturb any of those rulings. And that is signed by Jacqueline Casula. So think to my understanding that this is something that they will be allowed to continue and go forth with as needed to help to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Because here it says there is thus no reason to disturb any of those rulings. Okay, and I think that that's going to be it for today, you guys. And this one right here is the United States versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, criminal docket number 19-287, semicolon, brackets, S-3AMD, you guys. This is the government. It writes in reply to the defendant's supplemental opposition to the government's motion to admit other acts of evidence. Okay, so that's what they basically come to respond to on this one here, dated August 9th, 2021. So this is the last findings that I see in the pacer that I guess was okay to share because it was something that was not sealed. I'm just coming up out of this stuff, you guys. So 1 second, so that I can get my butt to bed. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room that took time to come and sit in with me. I like to have people on the panel so that we as well can get into some discussions that you guys would like to get into to further talk about how we feel, how we can put our opinions on some things, or how you think things are going to go this way or that way, off of agree to disagree. Shout out for donating to the channel. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. So I don't know, that's all I have tonight. So what do you guys got? You graduated from college, and you graduated in 1994. Man, 94. Woo. I don't know what I was doing in 94. I don't know. Thank you, PDQ, for joining. Cha-Chars, thank you. Thank you, Charlotte, for sticking around. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tori. You say that's the coldest one right there. Oh yeah, we read that. Imagine that Judge Donnelly sent you. I want to play it so bad too, Tori. I want to play Imagine That. That's my song. Imagine that, me. I can't even sing right now. You still here, sir? That's what's up. Thank you. Where's my Shannon? But Shannon, I'll never forget it no more. Not gonna happen. So every day, Gemini, all of you guys, Shannon, Lewis, thank you guys. Thanks for hitting the like button on your way in. Stay tuned. We're going into part B tomorrow. I am gonna take some time and indulge myself into the rules of the 412, the 607, 608, and 609. And all of this is bouncing off of the 404B that is related to information pertaining to what a character witness is without having the witness presence in the courtroom. Do you think that they should be using this, or do you not think that they should be using anything pertaining to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly and Aaliyah? She's not here. Do you think that Demetrius will be there to bag up this story? Who do you think that will be coming in to testify on behalf with the prosecutors as they try to bring forth a character witness? I'm going to call it a parade, a shenanigan, because they're going to be using, to my understanding, and allegedly, this a character witness, and possibly putting up her this alleged piece of document saying that there was a marriage between those two. So in the comments below, you guys, and on your way out, make sure you are subscribed to the One Papoose channel. But in the comments below, you guys, leave me something down there so that I can read of what you guys think about the prosecutors moving forth, and is allowed to move forth because, to my understanding, it has been admissible to do in the courtroom. So leave me some comments below of what you think about the government being able to use Aaliyah while she will not be present in the court of law, but use her as a character witness against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And who do you think that the prosecutors will have in their back pocket to uphold them as part of their evidence? Who do you think that they would be using? I like to know and I like to hear from some of you guys, and I love for you guys to stay engaged into the channel while I continue to try to grow the channel over here. So thanks for you guys for supporting the channel. I really, 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 really appreciate it. You say, Pat, the prosecutors and the accusers know we are on a girl. You're working it out there. Everybody's doing good work. Everybody out there is really, really doing some awesome work. Even with all of the distractions and things, everybody's getting down. You're getting down out there. So, you know, it's a sucky situation. You know, it really is that we have to have the distractions, but they gotta come. You know, everything can't always be good. It's just knowing how to handle the distractions, pretty much, you guys. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. So, but give me a second. 1 second, you guys. Give me a second. Let me see if I can get this up. Hold on. I don't know why I can't get my screen up. But I'm getting up out of here. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful night. And I will see you soon. Meet you back here tomorrow. Bye.
One pop asterisk, commentary classic. Went and tell the news, he told the news and done smashed it. Went around and learned the game and got the game mastered. Say you got the T, but she got the T faster. Fools cool to boo, limbs they lay them past her. She's a boss bitch, so you'll never get it past her. Funky Fridays, it be fun if you play it right. Me, I like the ladies, so you see me up on ladies' night. Pat got the game tight, play the game so right, so fly. You can laugh and cry in the same night. One Pat Poos got to put the name up in lights. One Pat Poos got to put the name up in lights. One thing you ought to know, you're fucking with a boss bitch. One thing you ought to know, you're fucking with a boss bitch. One thing you ought to know, you're fucking with a boss bitch. Thought you had the game locked, but you done lost.